our start time. We're just getting everything situated here. I do want to ask, for the duration of the class, you're going to want to be sure to mute yourself unless you're asking a question, just because you're going to want to be able to hear Kathy speaking while she's demonstrating. And we do have the chat box enabled, so you're welcome to send questions there. I'll be monitoring the questions, but if it's a question that's easier to explain over audio, you can just briefly unmute yourself and ask, but be sure to mute yourself when you've asked your question, and we'll be sure to step in and help you out. Is everyone able to hear us okay and see us on the screen?
Yep.
Okay. So I did want to say again, I think I mentioned earlier, you're going to want to use speaker view during the course, because you'll want to see Kathy's demonstration and her weaving techniques at the biggest possible screen size. And so that's the way you'll ensure that. You can also pin her video to make sure that it stays on her hands as well. And that way you won't have any interruptions from other folks speaking if they have a question. So without further ado, I wanted to mention again, we're the Wildling Museum, and this is our Serenity Stone Wrapping class with Kathy Badrak. It's our second virtual art class that we've done. And so this is new territory we're venturing into, and we're very excited to be offering more virtual classes in 2021. We've been offering virtual Zoom lectures throughout the pandemic, and we're continuing those as well. We just recently hosted Nathan Vonk and Nathan Huff for a talk a couple weeks ago, and we'll be hosting Holly Harmon and Nicole Strasberg for an upcoming March talk that we're excited about. The museum is closed in the purple tier right now for COVID, but we are hopeful that when the county reaches the red tier status, we'll be able to reopen sometime this spring, so stay tuned for that. We do have 2 installations on view right now that are able to be enjoyed from the sidewalk during our closure, and those are in our tower gallery and in our sidewalk facing windows along Mission Drive, and they're filled with works by Nicole Strasberg, who created a fox scene along our sidewalk, and Holly Harmon created a really beautiful water cycle installation in our tower gallery that you may have seen if you've visited, or even when you picked up your kits. So I think with that, I'm ready to hand it over to Kathy here soon so she can give you some tips. You will want to have your, I did want to show you your form that came with your kit. She'll be going over some of the items here, just explaining as we go what you'll use everything for, and also where some of the items are from if you do want to order more supplies or do this activity on your own with more rocks. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Kathy, and I will mute myself.
Well, welcome. I'm so glad you guys are here. Well, I guess we're started, so let me get rid of it. My name is Kathy Badrak, and I am a mixed media artist, and I dabble in a lot of different things. Most recently, for the last couple, maybe 10 years, I have worked in gourds and doing carving and so forth. I have always been a weaver. I was thinking about it and realized as a young person, I was always weaving. First off with loom weaving, and then off the loom weaving, and then now I weave on my gourds and so forth. So Serenity Stones just kind of fit into that. I call them Serenity Stones because for me, I can do them easily and they are very calming. I enjoy weaving, and so it's really easy to pick up a rock and just be able to put a nice pattern or design on the stone. I did some research on Japanese wrapping stones, which is what they're commonly called. And what I found is there is really no such thing as a Japanese wrapping stone. The Japanese they did wrap big rocks and with big rope on them, and they were set on paths for intentions or to guide along a spiritual path or something on that order. They do use a lot of basketry patterns that are Japanese. But you know, if you want to go on Pinterest, and you will find lots and lots and lots of different patterns and different mediums, and there's even some tutorials. And so if you really want to get into this, you know, you can have a heyday on Pinterest. I don't do complex designs because for me, Serenity stones are my way of calming myself. It's very peaceful for me. And so if it looks too difficult, I don't even bother. You know, it's not what I want. So what I want to try to teach you today is two fairly simple patterns that you can use and in other stones and other objects, and you can deviate from that and make your own design. So, you know, this is my second Zoom class, and it's like talking to myself in you know, which I do often actually, but nobody is answering me. So I can't see your faces, and so I can't tell your reactions. So I need for you to let me know where you are in the scheme of things. So use your chat. If I'm going too fast, if I'm not explaining well enough, then use your chat and let me know. And because I can certainly slow down. This class is for you. And I can sit here and talk to myself for 2 hours, but that's not what I want to do. I want to make sure that you enjoy your experience and learn to wrap stones. Okay. We have a question? Okay. I have Lauren and Karen on, and I think Stacy is also on, monitoring the chat. And so a lot of times they will probably be able to answer, or certainly let me know if there's something I need to do or go over something.
Kathy?
Yes.
I think, does Irene have a question? I see her hand raised on her little screen.
Okay.
No, I
Irene,
don't
you're
know.
muted.
I'm Irene.
Okay, so you don't have a question.
I don't have a question.
Okay, I'm lowering your hand.
For those of you that aren't aware, right next to chat is, actually it's over on the right-hand corner under reactions. And if you just click on that, there is a hand raising and also a thumbs up and a couple of other things, which are kind of fun to do. And I might ask you to do one of those within the class. Okay, so are we on the desktop? Is that what you're seeing? Can you see my hand?
Yes.
Okay, all right, good. What I want to do is go through your kit and talk about what you have. First off, you were given two different rocks, different sizes. The blue tape is to remind me of where the camera view is. So I will try to keep things going in here. And then the blue dot is my sweet spot. So you should be able to see that. So I'll try to stay within within my confines of blue tape here. Anyway, you'll have two different kinds of stones. They're a variety of different stones. There's jasper, there's obsidian, there's quartz, there's, whatever. My father-in-law was a rock hound and a rock hunter, and so he collected rocks throughout the United States. So we have a variety here. And it was very nice of him to slab material for us. And so I'm able to share his work with you. And I know he would be very pleased to have it, to know that it's being used. So that's there, and they're different sizes. They could be a variety of different rocks. Okay, so in there also you have a needle, and I can't see that. Let me put it on blue. Let me hold it up. This needle is a 24 gauge. Here we go. And it does not really matter. 24, it could be a 26. What you want is that wide eye, so you can be able to thread your material. Now, some needles, this one happens to have a sharp point. Sometimes they'll have blunt points. They could be a darner's needle, an upholstery needle, bookbinding needle. It doesn't really matter. What you want is for it to be long enough and also that big eye. I got these off of Amazon because I was buying in quantity, but Walmart, Kmart, any of those stores will, have them in the sewing, the fabric stores and so forth. They'll have them. You have 2 packages of wax linen, and I have them packaged in 2 separate. One is a 4-yard piece, and we'll use that in our second piece that we'll do. And the one in the plastic little bag is a 2 yards. Wax linen I think it's one of my most favorite threads to use. It is slightly waxed, and I use it mostly in my pine needle basketry because it goes through the pine needles very, very easily. It's also, I like it a lot because it doesn't knot very often, very much, and you can lay it on each other, on top of one another, and it will stick just because of the little bit of wax in there. Okay, what else? And you have a piece of apple wood, and they're trimmings from our trees in our yard. And it can be anything. And I'll show you some examples later on of the different kinds of things that you can use, and as you pick up on your hikes or walks. Okay, so I think that's it on the collection, what's in your kit. Okay, let me get rid of this now. So the first one that we are going to do is using the apple wood on a stone. But what I would like for you to do is for all of us to get here. And so I want you to get comfortable. I want you to take a deep breath and think of all the stuff that's been going on before you signed in. And as you exhale, let it all go. Okay, take another deep breath and recognize that inner critic, the one that tells you you're not getting this, that you can't do it, and put them in a corner as you exhale. And take another deep breath and come to the table and set your expectations that we will have a good time, we will have fun, and you will learn a lot. Okay. So, everybody ready to get started? Give me a hands up. Larger rock or smaller rock? Okay. Okay. So, okay, use your reaction button and give me a hands up, a thumbs up that you're ready to go. All right, seeing some. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is take our smaller rock, smaller of the two, and you're going to get your let me get situated here, guys. I'm sorry. Back up, back up. You're going to take your larger rock. Sorry. Forget which stone I'm working on. And so it's going to be the larger of the two. And we're going to put our apple stick on top of that. Okay,
Kathy,
so.
we have a question.
Okay.
I think from Anne. No? Okay, you have a raised hand. I will lower it for you.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to take our wax linen that's in the little plastic bag out of the little plastic bag. And we're going to take our needle and we're going to thread it. And easiest way to thread is one, put your glasses on. That helps. And you can take the wax linen and take it between your fingernails and you can rub it and make it flat. And it goes through the eye much easier.
Excuse me, I can't get my face off the screen and get you back.
Hit speaker view in their top right corner. Did that work for you, Anne?
No, it's on speaker view.
Okay, then scroll to where you see her, the screen of her hands and the rock. And then you can pin that video. So the three little dots top right of your screen, you should be able to pin, or I'm sorry, the hand screen. Did you get it?
Right now, for me, somebody else's face is frozen on my screen, so I'm not seeing hands or rocks or anything. Is anybody else having that problem?
Your internet might be running slow.
Oh, I teach on this all the time, and it doesn't. I've never done that before.
It's okay. Just remember to breathe.
I love that you said to breathe. Okay.
Yeah. The other thing might be to mute yourself because whoever is talking sometimes
Yeah.
appears.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I was muted, so go back to mute.
But you might want to address the direction of the stick. I know. Okay. Okay. Everybody okay? All right, good. Okay, so you've got your needle threaded. You want to pull out about 6 or 8 inches as a tail. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate first, and then you watch me, and then we'll go through it again. So you decide, let's talk about a rock here. I like these rocks because they have all of these little crags in there, and those are perfect for catching the string. So, so that's what when I'm picking a stone, whether it's a fat slab or, or some other kind of rock. I look for places that will catch the string. I'll give you an example. This rock, it's a beautiful rock. It feels good in the hand and the whole bit, but it is so smooth that the string just kind of slips off of it. And so when you're trying to weave, you can see how it's slipping off. When you're trying to weave, you can't keep your lines straight. So you also want to decide which is going to be your front or back. Now, I did all of these. You know how wonderful stones look when they have water on them? Well, what I did with all of these slabs that you have is I sprayed polyurethane on them, just a light coat. And so that allows that beautiful color that you get when there's water on it. So both sides are coated. So you want to decide which is your top side and which is your back side. And so I have put a little blue tape to signify my black back side, okay? Okay, so what we're gonna do is, the other thing, when you're working with long, we've got 2 yards of thread. When you do something, don't try to pull all the way up. You want to go in spurts. So you will see me do this kind of thing as I'm pulling my thread. It helps keep it from tangling, and also you don't have your arm clear out to nowhere. Okay, so we're starting on the back. We're going to get to our end piece. And so just watch, I'll do this again, and we can do it together. So, okay, I'm going to have my wood like that, but it also could look good that way, but I kind of like it this way. So it is entirely up to you how you place your piece of wood. So for me, I'm going to put it like this. So I'm going to go to the back side. I'm going to get my end. Oh, the other thing is I'm going to be working from the left to the right. So I don't want to start in the center. I want to start towards the left-hand side. So I'm on my back, and I'm going to start on the left-hand side. Oops, I need to turn it around. Okay, so there. See, I'm starting on the left-hand side. So I'm going to hold it with my thumb, and I'm going to go around the entire rock, get one of those crags. You can see where it's fitting right into there. And then I'm going to come up around, and I'm going to catch that tail. And I'm going to go around again. So I'm still on the back. Okay? Okay, so now if you feel comfortable, you can do it with me. You're going to decide which is your back of your stone. And you're going to take your end and you're going to hold it with your thumb. I'm not holding tightly, I just have a hold of it. And I'm going to go up to the 12 o'clock position, and I'm going to come around to the 6 o'clock, and I'm going to catch that tail. So everybody see what I got? Go back up to the 12 o'clock, come back down to the 6 o'clock, and go back over that tail again. Okay? Okay, so now I'm going to flip my rock over. So I've got a pretty good tension on it. I'm not pulling really tight, just a good tension on it. So now I'm going to put the left side of my stone, of my wood, and I'm going to hold it with my thumb. I've got a hold of the back, and I've got a hold of the piece of wood. So watch this and I'll do it again. So I'm going to go over the piece of wood, and I'm not going to go up to the 12 o'clock. What I'm going to do is go around the piece of wood. So I've looped it. Can you see? And I'm going to go back down to the 6 o'clock and back up to the 12 o'clock. And then I'm going to do that again. I'm going to go around and loop my piece of wood and go back down to the 3 o'clock. Now it's going to wiggle on you, and about the third or fourth stitch, it'll start holding. So let me take that apart and let me show you again. Okay, so we've got our 2 wraps around, and it's getting loose on me, and that's okay. I'm going to hold it tight. And lay my stone in, or my piece of wood in, and I'm going to go around and loop it around that piece of wood. Okay. And I'm going to go back down to the 6 o'clock and then back up to the 12 o'clock, and I'm going to do it again. Over the piece of wood, and loop it around, and come down to the 3 o'clock. Okay, and I'm going to go back up to the 12 o'clock, loop it over the piece of wood, getting caught on one of the little knobs, and back down. Okay. So now I have three things in, so I'm still holding it and I can adjust my thread. You know, all we're doing is locking it in, so you can adjust the thread. Now I've got this end that keeps wanting to come off. That's why I was saying I like the crags. So go back to my back side and move it around so I can pull it. So I can tighten it up a little bit. Okay, how's everybody doing? Very concentrating. Okay. All right, concentrating is okay. Question? Okay. All right, so I'm going to continue doing that, wrapping over around until I run out of my wood. Can't see. Can you go to speaker? Can we get it back on speaker? Yeah, so I can see. Okay. All right, got a request so you can see it. Okay. So this is the part where I'm talking to myself. So I need to hear from you guys. Are you doing okay? Do I need to redo this? Show it again? Let us know in the chat if you need for me to redo it.
We're meditating.
Oh, that's good. Okay, all right, okay. Yeah, that the end, getting started is really, that's with any kind of basket, any kind of weaving, any kind of gourd work. It's the beginning is the pain in the butt. So what I'm doing is I'm taking it apart.
Okay, here's another question.
We also have a note in the comments. Janine said it's easy to run out of thread and still have a bit of your stick left, right? And I think that just has to do with, you can wrap as tightly or as widely as you like, but just keeping in mind the placement of your stick while you're doing that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, yes, you can wrap it really tight, and you're going to need more thread. It's when I put the kits together, I tried to do the best guesstimate for all 25 of you, and you know, and so oh, I forgot to mention, wax linen you can get from a variety of places. On your sheet, I said, I gave you a link called Royal Wood. It's probably the best place to get a wax linen. You can get it on Amazon, but it's more expensive. And Royal Wood has got some gorgeous colors. So, you know, we're using brown. There's blues and greens and purples and yellows, and it's, you know, just a variety of colors. But, you know, we're all using brown today. The other thing is we're using a 3-ply. It goes up to 7-ply, I think I've seen. And so the higher the number, the thicker the thread is. And those are also okay. You can use a thick thread. It's just a matter of you have to get a needle that your thread will go through. That's your criteria. Your number 1 ply is really too thin. It's almost like sewing thread. And so you wouldn't be able to see your design. Okay, so back to the beginning. So I'm gonna start again. And I would say if you're having trouble with it slipping, try to find a really good crag to hold it. You know, for example, right here, right there is a good one. It'll tend to slip off there. So I'm gonna go with that one. And we're just gonna see. I'm gonna go in the same crag. And I'm holding it pretty tight. If you find that it's getting loose on you, come around to the back and pull your tail. And that will tighten it up a little bit. Okay, so.
So why do you need a needle?
It's a real good, we definitely will need it on the second one, but it's a real good way to move your threads around. You know, it's just another good tool to use. But on the next stone that we do, you definitely need the needle. Okay,
Good question.
that's a good question.
And it'll also come in handy when you show them the finishing part, Kathy, because there's a way to tie off your knot at the
That-
end,
yeah,
and it's very
yeah.
helpful there.
Okay, just clears. Some of them are okay, they're not sitting there, others are still working on it.
Okay. Okay, well, get my stone rewrapped.
And nobody's looking frustrated.
Oh, good, I just heard nobody's looking frustrated. That's a good sign. I like to hear that. Okay, so if it gets loose again, I could go back and find my tail and pull it again. Okay, I'm gonna do one more, oops. Okay. All right, so I could putz with this a little bit more, and I could take my needle and just, move it around a little bit. Make it even if I want or not. Okay. All right, so I'm ending. So I'm on the back side. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go under everything. Yeah. And I'm going to pull my tail really tight because that's my first string. Okay, so I'm under this and I'm going to pull till I have a loop here. So I pulled it and I have this loop.
Okay.
Okay, everybody see my loop? I'm going to go inside the loop. And I'm going to gently pull. And what it's going to do is pull all those threads together. And I'm going back and forth because that tightens it up. And I'm using the wax on the wax linen to help me do that. Okay? So now I've got it.
One more time.
I'm sorry.
Can you do that one more time?
Ooh. Let me see if I can get the knot out. Okay, well, what I did is I used my needle and went under everything, all my threads. I pulled it through. Okay, so I pulled it through and I've left this loop. Everybody see the loop? So I'm going to take my needle and put it through the loop and I'm going to pull. And you can pull back and forth and that just tightens it up. Okay?
Is this person right here? She seems to be okay.
Okay. So then I can go back to the front side and do some rearranging. You can roll your wood down to the center if that's where you want it. You can move your threads around. It's pretty tight, so it's, you're not going to have much movement, but you'll have some. And you can move top and bottom. You can move them on your.
She's still kind of fussy.
Oh yeah, you can continue to fuss all you want with. It's whatever makes you happy.
And your strings can be far apart too, right? I mean, they can be,
Absolutely.
okay.
Yeah. Since you only have 2 yards to work with, they need to be kind of further apart. If you had more of the wax linen to work with, you could make them really tight, right beside each other. But for the purposes of making this, you need to have them minor, probably a 1/4 of an inch apart. Okay. Everybody doing okay?
I like how it looks, so I guess that's good.
Oh, good. Good. So if you're okay with it, then you can go ahead and just clip this edge, and call it done.
Did you knot it again? I'm sorry. I think you knotted it again.
I put 2 knots in it just so I could show you, but you only have to do one. Once it's tight enough. And that's because you're working with the wax linen, and it kind of grabs,
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody want to show off their wrapped stone? I'm sure they're all beautiful and unique.
Ooh, nice. Oh, good.
Nice, Karen.
But it has 2 weird strings on the end, but it's okay.
You're looking good.
Irene, all right.
Oh, Irene, that's so pretty.
I forgot to mention at the top, we would love to see photos of your stones if you're able to share them with us after the class, just to share with everyone and use on our social media as well. So you can email those to me afterward at the email that we sent all of our reminders from.
All right.
We are doing a recording as well, so we'll be sending that out within 2 days, if not sooner, so that if you want to rewatch anything, that'll be coming your way too.
That was a nice one, Beverly. I saw that.
Okay. Now this is one that I did with a piece of sea urchin spine. And this was also just done with 2 yards of the wax linen. So it really depends on the size of stone you have. It just really, whatever you got. And this one is also a little loose there. I can see that. Now let me show you, before we take a break, let me show you a couple of other kinds of rocks that I have wrapped. Well, one, wrapping can be done with anything. This is a piece of, it's a rock, and that's done with kelp that's been dried. You know, that stuff that when you're walking on the beach, it's all over the place and the flies are buzzing and the whole bit. Well, it makes a beautiful material once it's dried and cleaned. And so this has been wrapped. Some of the other, now this one, it's a really thin piece of rock, not really pretty for much of anything, but I had this beautiful bead, and but just one bead. That's all all I had. So I was able to wrap it, and then it will slide up and down. And all I did was I just wrapped and then went right through the hole in the bead itself. So it takes, just a kind of a plain old piece of a slab and makes a beautiful piece. This is also done with, this is some other kind of cord. It's not wax linen, but all I've done is I've done a half hitch and in white thread. So you can see, you know, it's just very simple, but also very pretty. Some of the other
Question,
things,
Kathy. Someone
yeah.
asked, how do you clean the sea kelp?
How do you clean that kelp? Karen?
Just rinse it off.
Just rinse it off, let it dry. Takes a long time to dry because it's been in the water and, you know, and so forth. But yeah, yeah. And then you would have to, once you've cleaned it and let it dry, then you need to rehydrate it. So just a little bit, like with a spray bottle, so that you can be able to manipulate it. Okay, some of the other things that half hitch. On the next stone, I'll try to demonstrate. This is the half hitch. Yeah, it's a piece of rock, half hitch. But some of the other really cool things that you can find on walks and so forth. You know, I'm using this stone as an example, but you know, isn't that beautiful? You know, and so you would just grab that just a little, maybe, and similar to what I did with the bead. Yeah. And of course, pieces of abalone. You could put this in just like we did on the piece of wood. Except what I might do is just put a couple of pieces on, a couple threads, you know, on one end, then come to the back and put a couple on this end so that it allows the beauty of the abalone to show. And then, of course, you know, this. Find a hole or make a hole, and then you know, just be able to use it on, you know, be able to grab it into your piece of thread. This one I did. This is a piece of Jeffrey pine. Jeffrey pine bark. And we got it up on Mount Pinus, one of my most favorite places to go. And the bark is really, really cool. But, you know, you pick it up and you bring it home and you go, what do I do with it? You know? And so I put it on the rock. And this is also using the half hitch. It's just a couple pieces. And then I was able to, because of the bark, I was able to make two holes right here and was able to secure it in. And so now it's a gorgeous piece, and you know, and it's a fond memory of a wonderful place that we like. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, so the next one.
Maybe we should have a half-hitch class too.
Oh, half-hitch class, okay. So the next one we're going to do is this one, but right now we're going to take a 5-minute break. Time to get something to drink, go down the hallway, whatever.
Yeah, so we'll come back right around 2:30, everyone. Feel free to do what you need to do, and we'll see you in just a minute.
Okay, great. Okay, are we ready to get started again?
Yes, yes.
Good, 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 good. Okay, so this one we're going to make, it's got a weaving in the center part and then a circle around it. And I do a lot of variations of this circle. This is one that I've done before. It's same thing we're going to do, only I put a stone in the center of it. So, anyway, so we're going to learn this. So you want to get out the larger package of the wax linen, and I'm going to unwind it. Now this one is twice as long. This is 4 yards. So untangle it. And this one definitely you're going to have to thread your needle. Again, pull it slowly and in small increments, because this one wants to tangle. Okay, so I have my end, and I have my other end, and I'm going to thread it. Again, you can take your fingernail and make it flat, and it'll go through. If I put my glasses on.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
No, she does it already.
What was the question?
How long of thread do you usually work with if she wants to this?
I like a 3-yard piece of material. I usually work, if I'm weaving, I use about 2 to 3. If I'm doing basketry, 2 to 3. It's far easier to splice in than trying to get tangles out of it. You know, but okay. So we've got our needle threaded, we've got a tail, and I say a tail of 8 to 10 inches because it is so easy. You get so involved in, going in and out and so forth that you end up, if you have a short tail, you end up pulling it out of your needle and you have to thread it all the time. So nice 8 to 10 inch tail after you've threaded it is super good. Okay, so this one, okay, I've already determined this is going to be my back. And this one is going to be in the center or thereabouts. It also, you could move your circle up further here or down or in the middle. It really, Here's one that I've done, and I have it more up to the edge, up to the top in this particular case. And this one, I mean, because of the crag and break in the rock right here, it just called for it. That had to be where it was, you know. So, I lost my tail already. Lost my end.
Martha's asked Kathy if you can show how to splice at the end.
Really shows how to slice at the end.
Oh, splice at the end? Okay, sure. Yeah, don't let me forget it. Okay, so I'm on my back of my rock. I've got my tail, and I'm going to hold it with my thumb. And I'm going to come around from the 12 o'clock position down to the 6 and back up. And down around. And I'm going to do this 6 times. And always making sure to keep it as tight as you can without really, I mean, I'm using some pressure. My fingers are a little white, you know, at the edge. So I'm going to go around. Now, I've got this lump, this hump here, so I'm going to go ahead and change. So I have 2 on the front, and I'm going to do this one over here, just because the rock calls for it. If I put it here, it's going to slide off. If I keep enough tension on it, it might, but you know, this is all about calmness and meditating and so forth. So I'm going to go for the easy route. I'm going to put it there, and I'm going to put 2 in there.
Okay, I had a request.
Yes.
Could you put 1 or 2 at the edge so they can see them when they work? Or will they connect with you?
Okay, so this is the front of my stone. I have 4 now. So now I'm going to put 2 more. So let's see. Might be able to. I really don't want to go over this far because that'll.
Just pushing
it. Okay, I'm going to try up at the top. The reason that I'm questioning, because I think it'll probably slide off, but you know, we'll try. It's easy enough to take apart. Okay, so I have my 6 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Okay. All right, so I'm on the back side. So now what I'm going to do is, like we did before, I'm going to, when we knotted it, I've got a pretty good tension on it. My tail is under here, and I'm going to pull it just to make sure that front part is tight. And I'm going to go underneath all my threads. And I'm going to pull slowly. And this is where that just grabbing 6 to 8 inches at a time works really well. And then pull slowly until I get that loop again at the end. Okay, everybody see my loop? And I'm over here. My tail is loosened up a little bit, so I'm going to pull that tight. Okay, so I'm trying to keep it as this side as tight as possible. So I've got this loop. I've gone underneath all three, and I'm going to go back through the loop. And I'm going to pull slowly again. Okay, and as I pull, it's going to pull those threads. Make sure everything keeps tight. Okay. Okay, this one slipped off a little bit, so I'm going to pull it back, hold it in place, and I'm going to pull. Okay? So what I've done is now these are really tight across here, and I've tied it on the back. Okay? Okay, so now what we want to do is the weaving part this way. So I'm going to take my blue tape off. I don't want to weave over it. I'll stick it right over here. We know that's the back side. So I'm going to come down to the 3 o'clock position and come around to the front and turn it sideways. Okay, so now I've just got the thread just laying over top of it. Now watch this before you do it. Okay, so I'm back at the front. I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go under, over, under. And I'm going to pull through. Okay, so I want it to go there, and I want it to go there. Okay, so I went under, over, under. So now I'm on the other end, so I'm going to come around to the back, and I'm going to go under my threads again, but I'm not going to knot it, I'm just going to go under it. Pulling gently. Okay, so now I have my first one through. So I knotted it on the back, came around.
Pulling thread. I just wanted to make sure everyone is at the same point. Is everyone feeling good?
Can you repeat that again, please?
Sure. Okay, I've knotted it on the back like we did on the other rock. And I came around, actually what I did was I came around to the 3 o'clock position, and then, so now I'm on the front of my rock. I went under, over, and under, and pulled it through. When I pulled it through, I went under my knot on the back, And that puts me right back at the same position as the first stitch. So now my second stitch is going to be, if I went under on the first one, I'm going to go over that one and under and over. So it's the opposite of what I did on that first row. And I'm going to pull that gently through. Okay. So everybody got 2 rows in?
Give us a thumbs up if you've got the 2 rows when you're there.
Okay, good. I'm seeing thumbs. Yay. Okay, so you're going to go back to the back. You're going to go under your knot again. Pull gently through. Okay, somebody asked me about splicing. This would be, say I'd ran out of thread already. This would be a good spot to do it at. Say I only have this much thread left. What I would do is come under the knot, go back under and make myself a knot, make a loop, like we did before. Take your new thread, put it under the knot, make a loop, and tie it off, and then you would be good to go. Okay, so now I'm back at the front, and I'm going to make, so the second row I was over, so now I'm going to go under, over, and under. And pull gently through. Okay, so now I have 3 rows. So now's the time to kind of rearrange your pieces, tighten them up. Oops, I don't want that twisted. Okay, so that's how mine looks now. Okay, so I'm going to go under and I'm going to knot it again this time. Sorry, I'm going to lose this blue. So I went under the whole batch again, and I'm going to pull gently until I get a loop again. Okay, there's my little loop. Now I'm going to go through my loop and pull. Okay. Okay, everybody with me so far? Thumbs up?
Not yet.
Ooh, no thumbs.
There's one.
Oh, one, yay, one thumb.
I can tell the body language. She's still working.
Kathy, Martha was asking if it's 3 on the last part in the front.
Yes. So I have 6 going this way and 3 going this way.
A couple people cracking up, I wonder.
Now, again, depending on how much thread you have and so forth, you know, you can deviate from this. I mean, you know, you can make 6 across and however you want to do. But for our purposes today, it is 6 and 3. Okay. Thumbs up if you are at this point.
Almost.
Almost. Okay. All right.
Just to see some pulling of the threads in.
Martha's asked, for the weaving, do you have to have a total of odd numbers on the front?
No. It's whatever you want to do. And depending on how much thread you have, if you are trying to put in a design, you know, like this one I put in the rock. This one with the rock, I did 6. It's totally up to you.
Everybody's pretty caught up.
For our purposes today, you're doing 3 and 6. That's it. Okay, so now you're on the back. You've knotted on the back. So all your threads are hopefully not going to go anywhere. So now what we're going to do is start our circle around, okay? So you're on the back, so you want to come up. And you want to come up on the 3 row, not the 6, but the 3 row. And so what you're going to do is, okay, this first one I went under, so I'm going to go over, under, over. Okay, so I'm not going to go to the back. I'm going to stay right here on the front. And so what I'm going to be doing is a circle around here. So I want to showcase my weaving. Now, since mine is pretty well spread out, it's going to be more of an oval as opposed to, you know, a circle. So what I did was I went over, under, over, and then I'm going to go under the 3. Just change the design. Yeah. Okay. So I'm not going to pull it tight. I just kind of laid it there because that's kind of where I want my design. So on this one now, I'm going to go under, over, and under. Again, I'm just going to lay it in how I want my design. Okay, so now I'm going to go. Okay, so everybody watch what I'm doing right now. So I've just done the initial. So I have, this is where my circle, well, in my case, it's going to be an oval. And the reason that it's an oval is because I have these three so spread out. If you do it closer together, you will have more of a circle, okay? So I've got this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay, I'm not going to go over or under. I'm going to lay that. Actually, I'm going to go under. Hang on, let me get there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my thread right there, right on. I'm not going over or under. I'm just laying it right beside each other, right tucked up close together. I'm going to go under this one. This will be the same stitch that you do all the way around, so I'll do it a couple of times. Okay. So I'm going to, I've gone under this, so now I'm going to lay it right beside. And I'm going to go under. Okay. Okay. So I'm using my thumbs to kind of push it down. So now I'm going to lay the third row just right down. And I'm going to go back under again. Okay. Okay, so all I'm going to be doing now is just laying it around and then going under both of these. Does that make sense? And this is what we're going to do until we end up with about maybe 8 inches. When you get down to the end and you have about 8 inches of your thread left, that's when you stop. And I'll show you how to close it off.
We have a comment in the chat saying, I'm stuck at the first row on the weaving part.
Okay, so so right at the first, all you're doing is laying it down. And you get the idea of your circle or oval or whatever. And you just kind of press it in place while you lay it. First couple rows that you do are going to look weird until it starts building shape. The main thing is that on your crossbars, your row of 3, you're going to go under. I'm holding it with my thumb, so I'm pressing it down so I don't pull too tight. And I'm not liking this design at all, but anyway. I think, you know, at this point, because I'm not real keen on how wide they are apart, these 3, For this particular design, I think I would go find a rock and, you know, put it in the center or something like that. But anyway, and I also have this weird thread.
Everybody seems to be okay, except one woman isn't moving, but that's.
Okay. So everybody okay with this?
I don't know, looking around, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she moved, okay, wasn't sure. Yeah, it's one of these, they're really getting it right, or they're doing it fucking wrong, I don't never know.
One of the fun things about doing Serenity Rocks is you can make up your own designs. So if it's not going the way you want, take a tuck here and there, which is what I'm doing with this, because I don't like that piece.
It's interesting. Yeah. I'm getting goosebumps from the Oregon lady. She's laughing.
My only problem is because I did a certain tuck on the other side, now I got to do it on the other side so that they're balanced. But anyway, yeah, that's okay. Okay, all right.
Okay. Everybody seems to be.
Well, I see everybody's hands moving and everybody's quiet, so y'all doing okay?
There's some really nice artwork on some of the walls. Sorry. 3 or 4. So I don't know if she's done.
everyone ready to end it? You're down to your last threads. Nice. Irene, are you done?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah. Hi. Yes, I'm so excited.
Is that Irene from Daily Bread?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Irene, I say hi to you all the time at the dog park. So
No, not anymore. I mean,
no, because I heard you say you moved, but I just had to say hi because I thought that was you.
oh, Shardy's whining right now. He's going, hi, thank you.
Yeah. It is nice to see you.
Oh.
Okay. Everybody ready to, you're about done with your circle?
Where should the loose end be?
It should still be on your top.
Okay.
Okay, so let me show you how to end this. So when you come up to your row of 6, what you're going to do is, you've gone around and you're going to go under that batch. And you've got a little loop. And you're going to go through that loop. And that, my friends, is a half hitch. So let me show that to you again. You're going to go under your whole batch of threads. And you're going to go through the loop. So you want to do that 2 or 3 times, depending on how much thread you got left on one side. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go under the whole batch to get over to the other side. And you're going to do the same on that side. So what you're doing is hiding your thread under your batch. So you're going to go under all the threads, and you're going to go through the loop. And you're going to pull. You're going to go under your threads and through the loop and pull. And that's your half hitch. And it also finishes off your piece, your circle. And then you can either, if you've got some thread left, you can either pull it over, the top, and go back to your back and tie it off, and so you can cut back here. Or you can hide it underneath your thread, you know, your center circle again. However you want, you just want to get it hidden so you can cut it off. So I just went underneath, so I could cut clear back here. It's not going to come loose. I don't know whether you can see that. Just lift up my circle, and I could cut clear back here, and my end wouldn't show. And I, you know, have knotted it. It's entirely up to you. You just don't want your top thread, you don't want your thread to, you don't want your end of your thread to show on top. Okay. Okay. Yeah. You all feeling serene now? Oh, good. I got a head nod. Yay.
Procedure. How do I see what's going to happen? Just see the scroll. Is that 25? Maybe it is. Yeah, okay. Always
Okay, questions?
Yes, okay, so how come this comes out?
Is anyone ready to show off their piece? Hey, Anne. All right. GS 6994. Oh, that's a good one.
Can't see him, Stacy. Oh, there. No, that's me.
There we go. Cool.
Nice, Beverly.
There we go. Oh,
That's
nice.
a neat one.
Whoops, where's the camera? I'm gonna glue.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna glue this on this pine cone. Whoops. Where's the? Sorry. Oh, there.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm gonna glue this pine cone on.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Is it time for confessions yet?
Sure.
I have a confession
Always.
that I thought you were going to do the whole thing first, so I was just listening and everything, and then you started going and I got stuck, so I can't wait till the recording. Can I just say? I'm kind of ready at a spot, but I wonder if Martha was in the same boat with me, but maybe she kept going. But I was listening intently and I was faking it a little bit, like I was doing it, but I can't wait to finish it when I watch the recording. And it's not you, Kathy. You're really a good teacher, and I love it. And I do feel very serene.
Oh, good.
Yeah, no, I love it. I just got behind, so then I just started watching.
Okay. Well, that's fine. Irene said something that made me remember that I wanted to tell you. Glue can be our best friend, you know? And so, you know, if you've got, you know, a beautiful rock like this, it is okay to, and a lot of times I will do this depending on the type of rock that I'm using. I will glue just regular old PVA glue, hot glue, whatever. And I will glue back here so that it's not slipping on me. And I've also been known that when, I've got this row like here, and it's slipping on me, just lay, right at the edge. It just lay down a spot of glue over it. PVA glue dries clear. And, it's fine. It is perfectly fine to use glue.
What kind of glue do you use?
PVA, Elmer's glue, E6000, hot glue. Hot glue tends to get a little messy with the strings and all, but whatever you've got on hand. I'll lay down a bit of glue on each one of those, and it stays where I want it to go. It's all about Serenity rocks. Okay, anybody else finish their rocks? Want to show?
I did want to encourage everyone again, please send us your photos because we'd love to see what you came up with and share it with everyone, because that is one of the parts we miss about having in-person classes, is seeing everyone's work. So we would really love to see it. Nice, Diane.
Ooh, pretty, pretty, pretty.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you all so much for playing with me.
I'm gonna say.
And, and the video will be available. I think Lauren usually does it 2-3 days, so you can watch it again. And if you have any questions, you have my email. Your needle was attached to my card, so you've got my email. So shoot me an email. And again, share your pictures with Lauren. I love seeing them. So please do, take pictures of your rocks. And anything else that you might do, if new rocks or new things that you find from your hikes or walks, I'd love to see them.
Thank you. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
Great
you.
class.
Yes.
Thank
Okay,
you.
yeah.
You were a great student. Love it.
I wanted to add one more note. Since we are still learning our way through Zoom classes, and Kathy's been amazing as our first kind of teacher going through this format, we will also send a link to a brief private survey. So if you have any thoughts you want to share, or things you thought worked well, or things you think might work better for another class, we'd love to hear your thoughts. So that'll also be included in my follow-up that comes with your private video link. So stay tuned for that.
Thank
And
you.
Martha, I'm not sure who Martha is. You just asked a question about what other things you weave with.
I'm sorry, what was it?
I saw up there in the chat, she said, what other things do you weave with?
Under the 3 and back up and do the loop? Or
Ooh, pretty much anything.
Oh, I've been,
I do a lot of loom weaving, but also branches on the rocks, pretty much anything that I could fit on a rock.
mhm.
3, the loop, pull, half hitches, couple half hitches, all the way
Yeah.
under.
If I can stick it on a rock, I do.
I started weaving with sticks and branches and things, and so it's been fun.
Get really close.
Yeah.
That's why I thought.
Okay, I'm gonna sign off and say hi, bye, and thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Okay, bye, Karen.
Have a good week, everybody.
I'm almost positive it was the 3s.
Thank you.
Those are 3. Those are her 6.
Those are her 6. Those are her 3. Those are her-
Kathy, it looks like there's another question from Martha asking about what other things you use for cord.
Oh, anything.
You're just afraid to get which I don't know.
Twine, rope, it depends on the size of your rock, what you're trying to attach. I mean, you know, this kind of design might look really cool with a thicker piece of twine. Try it and see. I would not use natural materials, any plant materials or whatever, because they'll dry on you. Even things like grapevine and all, they'll dry. If you use any botanicals, you pretty much have to let them dry completely, and then you rehydrate. And it may or may not work. So like grapevine might be really good to start off with, but it's going to dry and it's going to crack on you and break your one beautiful weaving. You can't get that a twine that tight. Same way with reed. Trying to think. Honeysuckle would be the same thing. Ivy.
Periwinkle maybe.
Periwinkle maybe. That's so difficult to get rid of. You know, it may last. But again, you really have to let a botanical completely dry out and then rehydrate it. And so it has to bend. You know, you pretty much want anything that'll bend around your finger. You know, that's what kind of cord you can use. Okay. Are there any other questions come up? I still see somebody weaving. That's great. Good job. Oh, 2, okay.
Well, I think we're going to end it here, but as Kathy said, if anyone has questions, you're welcome to email her or me, and we'll be following up with everyone soon. So thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate you attending and supporting the Wildling, and we'll hope to see you when we do reopen.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
Should we leave now?
Mm-hmm.